Hello, my name is Amy if you're brand new here, and today I wanted to do a first impression review of the Coco Handle. So I have here two Coco handles, one with the exotic skin handle and one with just plain caviar. I did just come back from a party earlier and this is the outfit that I was wearing, and I was wearing this bag. So this bag is full of everything that I had earlier. It really fits a lot and I'm really happy with how much it fits. At least I was able to organize it the way that I like. So I'll also do a quick what's in my bag at the end of this video. It is known as a mini size here in Canada, but it's also known as the small size depending on where you shop. I mean which country you shop. And I think they're changing it to the small size even here. I'm not exactly sure. The best way to tell how big your bag is by counting the quilts. So it's basically 6 quilts. Starting with the measurements, the top here measures approximately 7 3/4 inches. The bottom measures around 9 inches. The depth is about 3 3/4 inches. And the strap drop is different on both bags. So the strap drop on this one is 18.5 inches, and this one, the strap drop is actually a little shorter at 17.5 inches. Aside from the strap drop, the actual bag is exactly the same dimension as my other one. They have exactly the same compartments. The only thing that is different is the material. So this one with the exotic handle does have a leather lining, so even the interior is all leather lined. But essentially there's one main compartment in the front, another smaller compartment in the back, a mini slip pocket right here in the middle, and then there's also a zip pocket here at the back. This exotic handle is made with python. So as you can see, it's a very beautiful snake skin. The rest of the bag is in caviar and the interior is leather lined, I believe in calfskin, I think. The material of this one, this is the regular one with all caviar on the outside, including the handles. This is a little bit more simple and it's fabric lined. Same compartments, but it's fabric lined, tone on tone. The stitching is a little bit thicker, a little bit wider apart than your classic flaps. This particular version, which is the spring 19P collection, does come with the shiny gold, the shiny light gold. This is how the side looks like. This is how the back looks like. Here's a look at the bottom. And as you can see, it features 4 feet. If you look very closely, if you can even see, it actually says Chanel 31 Rue Cambon, Paris. So it has the actual address of the original Chanel boutique and apartment of Coco Chanel. This does come off. It has a completely detachable chain. This one is just caviar handle and it's stitched underneath over here. The chain is really beautiful. It's just very dainty, and then it also features this leather. This is from the 18K collection, which features aged gold hardware on this beautiful blue caviar, which is kind of shiny but not super shiny. It's just a beautiful caviar. The side, the back is gorgeous, and that's also the reason why, even though I wasn't really looking for a blue bag, I don't normally try to buy blue bags in general, but this is just so gorgeous because it is a true sapphire blue. It's snakeskin, like I said. It is python actually. You might also be asking whether I prefer the exotic skin version or the caviar version with the fabric lining. It's so hard for me to decide because I actually like them both. I feel like the full caviar one, because it's a caviar handle, I do think that it's gonna be more hard wearing in my opinion. I just feel like I can crossbody this one. I don't have to worry about the handles or ruining it. With the exotic skin, because I do have it in the snake skin, it's a little bit more worrisome. If you do have it in the lizard or any other skin than python, I think you'll be fine. I heard that the lizard is actually super durable, or at least it's a lot more durable than the snake skin. They just decided to put snake skin for the 18K collection, not sure why, but I just really fell in love with the color of this blue and juxtaposed with the black python. I thought it was stunning, so I couldn't resist, so I had to get it. Now, if I were just to talk about the interior though, leather versus fabric, which one I prefer? I actually prefer the leather, to be very honest. It doesn't add too much more weight to it because it's a mini size. It just feels more luxurious. I feel like my things slide inside a little bit easier. I feel like it could be easier to clean as well, especially because the fabric lining on this one is light colored. It's basically a light gray color. So if I do get it dirty on the inside, it's going to be a little bit harder to wash, I feel. It's not a super huge concern of mine. I just have a preference for the full leather one. I just think it's super luxurious. I just think that it is worth the extra 1,000 if you can afford it. Chanel will cease to produce any handbags with any exotic skins. The official date that I was told that they will cease to carry any of, or at least produce any more exotic skin handbags, is May of this year. So May 2019, they will cease all production as well as any new releases of the ones with any exotic skin, whether it's this bag or another bag. So if you want something special with exotic skin, we're talking about snake, lizard, ostrich, basically all of them. They have a total of 7 exotic skin that they do use. They will cease all of that starting May 2019. So if there are any pieces that your boutique still has in stock, leftover that has not been bought, and you want something exotic, I definitely suggest you to go ahead and buy it before they go away. Wear and tear usually happens the most often on this style of bag, on the corners, because they do have sharp corners. So that's something that I'm mindful about, but it's not a hard thing to do for me because this is a mini size and there is a handle. In any situation where I feel like it's too crowded, or if I feel like there's too many people running around, kids or whatnot, I just hold it by the handle right in front of me to shield most of the obstacles. Because the way this bag opens, all the tension basically goes over here. For this particular one, there's no creasing here, which I'm quite happy about. It also depends on the texture of the caviar. We all know that Chanel doesn't produce the same caviar leather every season. They're always a little bit different. With this gray one, I feel like the caviar is still shiny, but it's slightly less than the blue one, so it's even more matte than the blue one, but it's not matte, it's just slightly less shiny. And the leather feels slightly softer, not super soft, but just slightly softer compared to this one. Again, it really depends on which season bag that you're buying. It could be different on yours. But so I noticed that on this bag, the creasing also happens right there in the front. So obviously right there behind the handle it happens, right? You can see it. But also when I open the flap, it also happens like right here in the front. I think most of you were actually shocked that I unboxed 2 Coco Handle at the same time. Obviously it's not something that I do very often. It was the first time I did that. I just couldn't pass it up because I feel like this is really the perfect size handbag, and also the price was still, I mean, it's expensive, but it was still reasonable for Chanel. I mean, we're talking about the prices nowadays in 2019, they're quite high and they keep going up. So I felt like the Coco Handle was still reasonable, and that's why I ended up buying 2 of the same bag over a period of 2.5 months. So that was a little bit crazy. I'm known to prefer mini bags, but like I said, also my mini bags are not that small, they are still spacious mini bags. So I feel like this is a really good size. This is my mini flap, the rectangular mini flap, and side by side look of them. So as you can see, this is just slightly bigger than this. Some people suggest that this actually fits more. I disagree. I still think that this fits more. Maybe it's just the shape of the items that I prefer bringing, and again, I'll show you what fits. This is how the back pocket looks like. They're exactly the same size. The view of the side, again, the reason why this fits more is because it's a little wider, even though it does taper up. But I love the handle feature. I don't foresee myself detaching the chains ever anyway, because I just like having the options of putting over my shoulder or even crossbodying it. It does work on me, especially with this gray one, which is 1 inch longer. Just to show you, I have it crossbodied now on me, so it hits me right over here. It's not uncomfortable or anything, but if I had a thicker coat, then of course it's gonna dig in a little bit. So I do prefer to turn it around and just crossbody it that way. The size up from this is more similar to a jumbo flap for how much you can fit, and also even the size looks more like a jumbo flap. I do still like it, but I think I just reach more for mini bags, so I just prefer keeping in the mini bag family unless I really needed one for work, which I probably would never really use one for work. A really good question that I got before was if I were to restart my entire Chanel collection, buying it from the retail store, which ones would I go for and in which order and why. My answer was that I'll probably go for a mini flap, number 1. Number 2, I'll go for a Gabrielle bag, and number 3, I'll probably go for a Coco Handle. But to be very honest, the order of these 3 bags doesn't really matter to me. I'll probably just buy whichever one comes up because each season is different. They don't always have the mini flaps in every season. They don't always have the Coco Handle in every season. And as far as the Gabrielle, is still a new-ish bag. I feel like they've been issuing it every season, so I feel like it's becoming a classic. So it just really boils down to the color and to the material of that season. Now for the cons, there aren't that many, to be very honest. I think one of the major ones is just how it opens. Because it opens this way, of course it creases, but that's a given. It's also the fact that the handle over here does kind of dig into you. I mean, you just get used to it and you can just avoid it by pulling the bag forward. So when you open it, you just kind of pull it forward so that it doesn't dig into you. That's just one thing that might bother you, especially if you have a larger size. Also with the mini size especially, the opening is tighter because it's smaller. I feel like you really have to open your flap wide to reach inside your things, especially the back pocket. I think with the size up, this isn't as big of an issue because of the wider opening. I feel like you can see more of the inside without having to really pry open your bag. Some of you also mentioned about the chain, where this little piece over here is not super strong and that could end up pulling it and breaking the hook here. If you do tend to really stuff your bags, especially if you have a larger version and you really stuff everything in it and it becomes super heavy, that could be a problem. It hasn't happened to me obviously, but I just wanted to mention it because I've been told that. Also, I do want to mention that when the bag is completely empty, and even though it does have 4 feet, it tends to wobble a little bit. Let's move on to what's inside my bag. So this is exactly the way that I had it coming back home, except that I did replace, instead of my camera, I just put this inside, but normally my camera goes in here. And don't forget that I do have the G7X, so it is a pretty good sized point and shoot, and it does fit there standing up. Over here I have my cards, and I also have my 6 key. Over here in the far corner I have this little baggie which has all the miscellaneous. The only way I can fit my glasses by putting it this way, and it has to be thin enough glasses obviously, and you can close it, it won't damage it. The only things left are all in the back, and they're both really flat items. I have, so I'm just gonna grab them both out. So as you can see, I have this flat pouch It has extra cards and money inside. And I have my phone, and this is the iPhone XS Max. Oh, actually I do have something else that was slipped in the back along with the iPhone. It's just my bag hanger. This is the clip-bud too. I love it, highly recommend it. I think you should all get it. I also have a little wet napkin, which was somewhere in there. So now it's completely empty, and voila, this is the lining. It's still beautiful. It's just, you know, kind of like a cottony one, and the back pocket is not super deep, and the slip pocket right here. So I hope you found this review helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you're brand new to my channel, I would love to have you back, so please do consider subscribing, liking, and commenting down below, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye!